Another one is meatballs. Make your favorite meatballs, but please don't just use the old plain Swedish variety. And I'm not knocking Swedish meatballs. I'm Norsk, you see. But put a bit of cumin in them, and maybe a bit of chili powder. I've cooked these ahead of time. They're not too terribly warm now, but it really won't matter. And you'll serve them with toothpicks. Are you getting excited yet? Well, wait till you see the whole mess on one table, and then you'll understand why I'm excited about tapas. We'll set it all up later. What's next? Now we need olives. The olives, I was in Greece a few months ago and came into an olive orchard, and I almost wept. It was so utterly beautiful. Olives are one of our oldest food products, and they give us wonderful things. So I'm going to serve 3 different olives on my tapas bar, and I'll show you what they look like. First of all, I have some baby French olives. Now, these are expensive. Oh, these are expensive little critters, but they're just lovely, and they're fun to nibble on. Aren't these gorgeous, little bitty bitties? And then we'll use some larger ones, and the larger ones that I have are from Greece, and these are a Kalamata olive. They're a darker olive, and wonderful flavor. How many dishes today, Mabel? 17. Hang in there. Then we have some Greek olives. I'd like to put some parsley on these, just to make some color on the table, and a bit of oregano. A bit of oregano will do the job. There we are. And perhaps a slosh of olive oil would be good too, if you like. All right? And then we have some green ones, and for the green ones, I'm going to blend them with a bit of vinaigrette, of simply olive oil, lemon juice, white wine vinegar, a bit of garlic if you wish, and a tiny bit of Dijon mustard. And that will just give them a little bit of added class. And that's what we need. Because you want, see, the idea behind this tapas bar thing is to have everyone mill around the table and talk. That's how they do it in Spain. If you're lonely in Spain, it's your own fault, because very close to your hotel, there's going to be a fine tapas bar. And that's where you should go. You shouldn't stand around and feel sorry for yourself, for heaven's sakes. Get down. There I said heaven's sakes, didn't I? All right. But anyhow, you'll have a good time, because the Spanish are very warm, wonderful people. And boy, do they love to eat. All right, olives in vinaigrette. Big fat green ones. Yes, there is a pit. Yes, you put it in your napkin when you're wandering around the table. You were nice to remember. Just spit them into a napkin and get rid of them. And now, let's see, that's 1, 2, 3 olives, so we'll go on from there. How about some kidney beans? Just take a tin of kidney beans and put them in the same vinaigrette. And stir them about very gently. We don't want to mash these. I'm going to put some parsley in them. A little more vinaigrette. There we go. And we will now prepare our little pan of beans. And you can eat these with tiny little spoons or dish them up, you see. Or you can play with toothpicks, because that's the most common way of eating. For the tapas, you have a toothpick and a napkin and a glass of sherry and someone you like. And you're going to meet a lot of other people you like, too, at a tapas bar. Better save that. I want to do mushrooms next. Chaos, utter chaos. Is it possible to have too much counter space in your kitchen? Absolutely impossible. If I had 8 miles, it would be too small, I promise you. All right, let's go on to the mushrooms then. Where are they? Here we go. Same routine. Marinate them. Now, of course, you can vary the flavors in your marinade. For instance, I like mushrooms with tarragon. Put in a little bit of tarragon, and you'll have a wonderful time with mushrooms marinated, and then serve them with a toothpick. And let everybody take their own. You don't have to stand there and busybody them. A little parsley. Or you might want to put some oregano in your mushrooms. Rosemary might be nice. And onto the bowl they go. See, now all of this can be sitting there when your guests arrive. And then you can kind of strut around with a glass in your hand and tell everyone to go to the table and have a good time. And that's the nature of the game. All right? And, this next one's really a toughie. I don't know if you can manage this one. This is really too complex for you. Have you got your pencil ready? All right? It is called pickled beets. You open the jar. All right? Put the beets in a bowl. Stir them with some sliced onion. And put them on the table. Did you get that? Nothing to it. And this is very popular in this country, of course, and in Spain. It's very simple to do. All right. There they are. How are you counting? I think I'm up to 13. I'm not sure where I'm at. I think I'm up to 13. Let's see. Let's try smoked clams, and all you do for this one. This one's complicated too. Take them out of the can and put them on the plate. There you are. Can you manage this one? There's nothing to it. And again, we're going to make another quickie with some cheese cubes. This happens to be a hard, what is this? This is a hard smoked Italian cheese. What do you call that? Provolone. This is a hard provolone, and it's wonderful in a tapas bar because it has enough smoky flavor to really excite your sherry. So everything should fit together. Though it's going to look inconsistent to you, and that's okay. That's all right. It can't be helped once we put this thing together. Finally, I think it's finally. Let's see. Is it finally? Salami, cheese cubes. The last one I've done is to make some little folded up salami bits, you see? These are very, very simple. This is just good Italian salami. Now, let's set up the table. I hope I have room. I've chosen a table that is not terribly large, but certainly big enough for people to get around. So let's put these things together now. And I'll remind you what they are. First of all, in the center, I'm going to put my casserole of sardine. And then we have smoked clams, and we have the cheese, the pickled beets, we have the mushrooms, we have toasted almonds. Isn't this a riot? We have salami, we have meatballs. I've got to start reaching out this way. We have kidney beans, we have the eggs, stuffed eggs. Remember, on this one, all you do is add a little bit of anchovy to your own deviled egg recipe. The ham chunks, simple with tomato sauce, just throw in a little bit of chili. And my favorite, of course, is this shrimp. I bet it'd be your favorite, too. That one's so good. And there's nothing but garlic, olive oil, and a bit of chili powder in that one. The squid is simply cooked in my tomato sauce. No, it's not cheating. Just cook it in your favorite spaghetti sauce, rather than just plain tomato sauce. Finally, 3 olives, 3 different kinds of olives. And now then, the nature of the game is simple. You grab a toothpick and a napkin, and you grab your glass of wine. Where's mine? Here's my sherry. Oh, incidentally, don't ever grab a glass when you're at a party like this that centers around a marvelous beverage such as a sherry. Don't ever grab the glass by the ball of the glass. Don't ever do this because you get fingerprints all over it. The reason that the glass has a stem is so that you don't have to touch the glass itself, you see? And that's the way the game is played. Or if you want to be very European, you can carry it by the bottom. I've always taught my waiters to serve wine this way because that way the person can grab it by the stem or by the bottom, or if they don't know any better, they can grab it by the ball. Now then, we're going to play the game. And we're going to remember that in Spain, did I get everything? I want to read the list to you once more. I'm not sure everything's here. Something seems to be missing. Shrimp with garlic and oil, the toasted almonds, sardines in casserole. Remember, that one's wonderful. Stuffed eggs, meatballs, any one you want. Simply add a bit of cumin to the recipe. 3 kinds of olives, ham chunks in hot sauce, squid in marinara sauce, or in a good spaghetti sauce, kidney beans in oil, mushrooms in oil, smoked clams, pickled beets, salami, cheese cubes, and we haven't even gotten started because in Spain, they will have up to 400 different varieties on a single tapas bar. 400 different kinds. Now, what's the point in such a place? What's the point in such a culture? Americans eat so fast. We eat in such a hurry that we forget the real function of the table, and certainly we forget the function of entertaining. In our culture, the term fast food, I'm not going to live long enough for fast food. I don't have time for fast food. I enjoy the world and I enjoy good food. So I want you to gather your friends, even if this is your family. So if there are more than 4 or 5 of you, this would be worth doing. Maybe not 16 courses. All right, cut it down to 10. I'll let you get by. But sitting around and nibbling and kibitzing and talking is a very healing experience. So in the evenings in Spain, you go wandering about in the streets and you go in and out of tapas bar. Let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you a secret. And this is to all of the Spanish students that I've heard from through the years at my own university and some in Spain. This is how you live if you're a Spanish student. You go marching into the first tapas bar, and you grab a little plate, and you get a toothpick, and you buy a glass of sherry. And the sherry, incidentally, is served with on the end of a long stick, and he dips way down into the barrel. And if the guy is good, and I've seen some wonderful ones, he will pick up it's a little spatula, a little paddle on the bottom, a little cup on the bottom of this long rod. He dips it down into the sherry barrel through a little hole in the top, and then he holds it way up in the air and he pours Lord, you're convinced he's not going to get anywhere near the glass, and he hits it every time. You have the distinct feeling he's done it before, you know, maybe once or twice. In any case, the students walk into the first place, buy the glass of sherry, which is not at all expensive, and it's good stuff. I don't mean these cheap sweet sherries that we use in this country. Don't do that. Buy a good dry sherry. The drier the better. Tio Pepe I love, but I can't afford. A dry sack I love, but I can rarely afford that. But there's some good California dries that you'll really enjoy, and buy them for your party. If it's a really high-class party, invest in something like Tio Pepe or a dry sack. Those are wonderful. Anyhow, back to the students. The student marches into the first tapas bar, buys a glass. Don't forget the tapas. Don't forget the lid for the flies, you see. Isn't that crude? No, it's not. It's fun. Anyhow, then he goes to the table with his toothpick and his glass, and he eats and eats and eats and eats and eats and eats and eats until finally the bartender catches on and throws him out. What's he to do? He walks 50 feet down the street into the next tapas bar, buys another glass of sherry, fills up his plate. Listen, for $1.50 in the course of the evening, you see 3 different tapas bars. He's very well fed, and then he goes home and back to his studies. There's something terribly humane about eating slowly at 9 o'clock in the evening with a whole group of friends. And yes, it's true, some people don't even bother to go home for dinner. You simply have tapas after tapas after tapas after tapas. All right, so the first entertainment rule that I want to give you now, first of all, we're going to talk about these again for some time, for several weeks, is I want you to have fun at what you're doing. But remember that if you do something weirdo, if you have a Chinese hoko pot or something, we're going to do that, and people are sitting around us and they don't know what to do, you may be having fun, but your guests are mortified because they don't know what to do. So here's the rule. For heaven's sakes, tell them how it's done. If it's a tapas bar, you grab a plate. It's all right to go through the thing first. You're not being rude because you're trying to help them relax, you see. And say, I just love this kind of thing. This is how they do it in Spain. And I'm just, you got to try the smoked clam. And you go right around that table, grab everything, and invite everyone to come and join you so that we can fulfill Sovereign's blessing when he said that we're to be responsible for our guests' relaxation and hospitality all the time they're in our house, you see. We mustn't put them in a difficult situation. I've been to dinner parties where there's so much silverware on the table that I swear I wouldn't know where to start. And I'm convinced the hostess is trying to put me in a very difficult situation, you see. Kind of the politics of silverware, I suppose. You've got to be careful with playing that game. All right, there it is. Tapas, we have 16. You can add anything you want. Garbanzo beans, pickled herring, I don't care what it is. Some of your favorite things. It's kind of like a Swedish smorgasbord on a very small scale. But you'll have a very good time with it. And it'll be wonderful for entertaining and enjoying your friends. Don't forget the bread to dip in the sardine and onion mess. That's so delicious. There you have it. Tapas from Spain, a glass of wine, a table full of food, and people you love. Remember that no one, this is an old Spanish proverb, no one can be a wise man on an empty stomach. I believe that. Until I see you again, this is the Frugal Gourmet. I bid you peace. Bye-bye.